Oh no, Josh! Josh!
What happened to Josh?
I'm here. Sorry.
That was pretty funny. I was like,
sorry. I ran out for like 2 seconds. I was like, I can make it before the song ends. Nope.
it's like a magic trick.
We rolled the credits and everyone did. It would have been funny if you let me know. I would have disappeared too, and then Daniel just would have been like,
I just did a live video streaming version of that dog trick where you hold up the blanket and then drop it and run away. So,
well, hey now.
How's everybody doing?
good.
Very well. Very
How
well.
are you guys?
On today's show, we're gonna be covering. Who's Moon Knight?
Nice.
That's how
one
we
of
get Colin.
one of my favorite all-time characters.
Yeah, that's how we get Colin's show since he can't be here today.
We talk about Moon Knight.
But before we go into that, as always, we want to catch up on the stuff we've been doing. I think based on our notes, we've been a little busy consuming content. So let's go into our previously on next issue segment. And whose dogs were those?
They are not mine.
Oh, okay. No, I was just asking because I know Clay and I were talking before the show about how his dogs were taking a nap.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh no, they woke up. Yeah. So we'll be talking about that, but let's go. Well, actually, let me go first, and then we'll go into the stuff we've been kind of talking about. So first off, last Sunday, as soon as the show was over, I went to watch the first episode of Dexter: New Blood. I don't know if you guys watched Dexter like a decade ago or whatever.
I watched it. Yeah, I did. I'm not excited for the return, but changed my mind.
I understand.
Yeah, dude. Oh, sorry. I was gonna say my wife just watched them and she's like super into it.
Good.
So
yeah, she should be. Everyone should be. So I know the show. So I think season 1 through 4 of Dexter are amazing. Like some of the best television we've gotten. And then from there, the show kind of had bumps in the road, and then it just kind of took a dive. A lot of people weren't happy with the finale. I get that. I don't even know what like I try to think sometimes like, okay, how else could this show ended? But I'm glad. I'm glad now it ended the way it did, because this first episode, holy shit. So spoilers for a 10-year-old show. I'll spoil the finale of the last show. The show ends with Dexter leaving Miami. Dexter's he's a serial killer that targets other serial killers and criminals, all right, to satiate his need to kill, as opposed to taking the lives of innocents. So he leaves Miami. Everybody thinks he's dead because he disappears in like a hurricane or something, and we just see him in like a cabin in the woods at the end somewhere. I don't know if that's exactly this place where we're at, but he now lives in a small town outside of New York. I don't remember the name of the place, but it's one of those little towns that very inaccessible. Very few people live in that little small town. And he's kind of remade his life. Like he's got a whole new life going on. He's part of a community. He's been able to keep his dark passenger in check, as you would. But obviously, as we are approaching a new show, like this was when stuff starts going wrong. So the show is about, first of all, how is Dexter dealing with his urge? And they do something really cool. They do this really interesting sequence a couple of times throughout the show to kind of tell you, like, this is how he's trying to cope. But how long can he really maintain, right? It's been 10 years in the show, and I think in real life too. So it's been 10 years.
How did he cope for 10 years though?
Right. So they kind of try to go into that. They do show you. Okay. They do show you a little bit, and I think they'll unfold more. But also, things are happening in this town because rich people get there and rich people are always assholes. Always. So,
Always.
Always.
always. And then also Dexter's past may be catching up with him. So, so we have three different things happening all at once. Michael C. Hall's performance is great. Like,
he's a home run. That's why that show lasted that long.
Yeah, he's
so exactly.
Good. He's so good. I like the new cast that they formed around them. And you may see some familiar faces too,
Did they please tell me they didn't bring his sister back?
Well, she died, right?
Oh shit, yeah.
Yeah, she died. So, but Dexter always needs somebody to talk to.
But his dad comes back.
So maybe Harry's been replaced by somebody else in his life.
So the new series doesn't undo the previous.
No, it doesn't.
It's not like the Connors where they just ignored the last season and
exactly. No.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Quick shout out to Joe. Hey, how's it going? Art Chemist, how's it going? Morning. We're talking about Dexter. We're catching up on the stuff. We will be talking about Disney Plus for our main topic, but we're just catching up. And yes, we're definitely gonna talk about this X-Men announcement. As you can see, my name is Wolverine97, so I'm very excited for that. But yeah, the show's great. I will say, I understand it's another subscription because Showtime and nobody has Showtime.
Nobody.
So
does.
what I recommend is the last episode of the season 1 is supposed to air January 9th. So if you begin your membership on December 10th, you can catch up on all the episodes and then you just watch the last few. Like you can, just for that whole month, you can enjoy the series. And
does Showtime have anything else to offer? I mean, I don't know their shows that well.
They have a show called Billionaires, I think. Black Sundays with Paul Scheer and Don Cheadle.
Now that I'd be interested in that, but like Billionaires.
Oh, Black Mondays, I think it's called.
Black Mondays, yeah. But Billionaires and Succession, shows like that about rich people, I could give a fuck unless we're hunting and killing them.
Clay, I understand what you're saying, but fucking Succession just sucked me in. Like,
I've heard that.
It's like I've never done drugs, but I imagine that's what it's like. When you just like, I need to keep going. I need to figure out what happens next, because it's like you're looking at rich people, but their lives suck, kind of, but they suck differently than our lives suck. They just suck in a different way, and you're like, yeah, fuck them.
Well, like the right champagne isn't available.
There's I'll tell you this: there's not one likable character in Succession.
Is their healthcare too good? Is that the problem?
Rich people problems.
Yeah.
See, and that is something that will immediately turn me off of media. I have to have at least one character that I like. That's why, again, I've said this for years. I've never liked the remake of Cape Fear because I hated every single character, and I was like, please kill them all.
Wow.
Just kill them all. That. I don't like any of them. Just, that's fine. I hope they all drown.
I quit watching 6 Feet Under after everyone just became unlikable.
Yeah.
Everybody on that show was unlikable.
I haven't seen either of those things, so I don't know. I don't have an opinion. But yeah, watch Dexter. I think if you enjoyed Dexter at any point during the show, I think you'll enjoy this. But I understand not wanting to pay for a whole thing, so just wait till it's all done, and binge it. It's only going to be 10 episodes.
Showtime is a channel that will drop like the first episode on YouTube to let.
I'm surprised they haven't. Although I will say fuck them, because they normally whenever we do a trailer reaction, we'll get a copyright strike. Like it wouldn't be monetized. But Showtime and Stars, they wouldn't even let us show any footage.
Weird.
That's why no one fucking watches those shows.
They just like blackballed the video, and like they would never. Oh, look, we have somebody that has watched 6 Feet Under. So it's more about, maybe the stories are what you're supposed to latch onto. Okay.
Well, yeah, I mean, early on you do get kind of pulled into that, but I will talk. if you've seen 6 Feet Under, you know the episode where I think it's David smokes crack and he's in the van. That was the jump the shark moment for me, and I was done. That was just too fucking weird.
He's jumped the shark while smoking crack. That sounds dope. I want to go.
That was a very special Happy Days.
It was you've got to build up to it. You know, that also explains why Fonz is wearing that leather jacket water skiing. I mean,
it was the
come on.
Setup. It was the same setup as the Fonz, just he had a crack pipe with him.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about comics real quick.
Yeah.
I read a bunch of stuff. Batman the Imposter #2. This is written by Manson Tomlin, who's one of the writers on the Batman movie that's coming out next year. I think I talked about this before. If not, I did definitely do a review for issue #1. This is very early into Batman's career. Batman finds that there is another Batman that's killing people. So the police are after him. How does Bruce Wayne deal with this? Now, in this issue, I did find this maybe some kind of Elseworld story where Alfred left because he couldn't deal with Bruce as a child. So he doesn't have that support system that he normally has. So Dr. Tompkins, his psychologist, Leslie Tompkins, yeah. She's the one that's more in a mentor like role, guardian to Batman. It's really good. And the art's by Andrea Sorrentino, who we love.
Yeah.
We love in this show.
Yes.
So, I also read Inferno #2. Holy shit, X-Men Consequences are happening. If you read House of X and Powers of X and you like that, you probably want to, maybe if you want to wait till this event's done, but you can probably skip all the way to here because it's all the seeds that were planted back then, they're sprouting here, and you're like, oh shit. So if you're wondering where Moira's been, she's in this book. So we have a new Venom #1 by Al Ewing and Ram V with Brian Hitch on art. I did a full review for the channel, but man, listen, I know it's gonna be tough to follow Donny Cates and Ryan Stegman, but they really swung hard on the first issue, and I'm like, okay, let's go. I'm gonna keep reading this.
All right, good.
So I'll keep you all informed.
Al Ewing keeps picking up book after book after book, man.
Yeah, they're and it's interesting because having two writers on this, so both Ram V and Al Ewing are writing this. It feels to me like this is a slight spoiler for the end of the last Venom run. So we have now Dylan has the Venom symbiote, who's Eddie Brock's kid. And then Eddie Brock is now in charge of the symbiotes. So it feels almost like if Al Ewing's writing Eddie's story or his part of it, and Ram V's writing Dylan's part of it, but then they do commingle. So like, I don't know. It's interesting to have two writers on a big book like this.
Yeah,
I can't even think of any other book like this, really.
Immortal Iron Fist had Matt Fraction and Ed Brubaker. So yeah, and that led to the battle of the seven. Oh my God, the seven heavenly cities battle in the Immortal Iron Fist.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that worked out really well.
All right. Before I move on, let me address two quick things in the chat. I once heard a rich guy say, "Oh my God, I only have $90,000 for the weekend." Oh my God, I want a shirt I don't want a shirt with that on it. And then he was in a van smoking crack and just hit the accelerator to get the height he needed. The shark tried to get him, but that was good. I kind of want to see that.
Wow, yeah.
I want someone to really film that.
All right. Also read Robin and Batman #1, which is the new Jeff Lemire book with Dustin Nguyen.
Love that art, man.
Yeah,
I love his art.
It's only going to be 3 issues. Quick. I mean, they're oversized issues, but
yeah, it's like prestige format.
Mm-hmm. Good book. I mean, if you like Lemire or Dustin Nguyen or both, like you can't miss because it's a Robin story of like going back to his origin a little bit.
Yeah, like one of the first Robin stories.
Mm-hmm. And then just plugs for the channel. I did a review regarding the matter of Oswald's body from Boom Studios. So in this comic, there's a conspiracy that Lee Harvey Oswald's body is not buried in the Fort Worth cemetery. So this investigator recruits like this ragtag team of like scoundrels to figure out, or I guess to kind of cover it up or figure it out. I don't know. It's kind of ambiguous, but I really like it because it's like, wait a minute. First of all, this is happening in the Dallas Fort Worth area.
Yeah,
it's always cool.
Right.
So you do see like it's interesting to see Dallas in the 60s because it's nothing like Dallas now.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there's some racial tension and stuff in the book, and I'm like, oh shit. Okay, yeah, that's definitely not the Dallas well, some places uptown.
Some places.
Yeah, not anyways. Yeah, don't go to Concrete Cowboy. Whatever.
You just got to call them out like that. Yeah, there's areas of Dallas that's like very white only. Sunnyvale, University Park, Highland Park, and I could go on about the racism or just run by legislation around here.
Yeah, so it's interesting because overall I feel like we live in Dallas is a progressive city, but it's not. But it just feels that way. Probably
it's progressive if you've got money.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I mean, look at affordable homes in the area.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
all right, we won't change this tangent, but the but the book is really fun because I like the whole like it feels kind of like if they took one story from Department of Truth.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah,
is it a crossover with Department of Truth and they find Lee Harvey Oswald?
Yeah, something
running the department.
I think. Well, isn't Lee Harvey Oswald the main dude in Department?
Yeah,
of Truth? Right. Yeah. Okay,
he runs the Department of Truth.
Right. Yeah. That's the reveal at the end of the first issue. Is that he's Lee Harvey Oswald? So because that's as far as I've read. I need to read more.
I know. I have like almost the first. I need to read the first two storylines.
Yeah, we do have a Hellmouth here in Dallas. So
it's called North Park Mall. It's
it's in the middle of the mall. It's always busy.
It's where the duck pond is.
That's right. And then the other thing I'll plug is What's the Furthest Place from Home #1, which is the book by Tyler Boss and Matthew Rosenberg, who wrote 4 Kids Walk Into a Bank, which I believe we all really liked.
Yeah,
so they're back
that
together.
Was really good.
Unfortunately for Dallasites, our comics didn't come in because Diamond got all their shit screwed up by some.
I wondered about that. Yeah,
well,
Jesus,
Josh, you can go watch my video on the channel about what happened.
we're just
bad Josh.
I wonder what it's going to take for the U.S. to get a hold of ransomware around here. I mean, they've shut down businesses before, and it could get scary. I mean, what if they start shutting down hospitals?
Yeah, that was. I mean, there was not. Our shops really suffer. They're the ones that take the brunt of it, right? Because Diamond's like whatever will next week. Whatever.
Yeah, I mean, they still get the books. They'll still ship them. They'll still make the money. It'll just be delayed, and all the stores will be suffering from not having people come in that would buy those books on a regular basis and looking around the store and picking up other things.
Yep.
And so,
but luckily, Marvel and DC don't really distribute through them anymore. So maybe you shouldn't have a single point of failure in your whole distribution network, and monopolies are bad. I don't know. Just a thought.
I mean, I didn't go to business school, but it seems like you kind of just put everything on a bridge and just hoped it stayed in put.
Yeah.
This week on Next Issue Podcast, the next issue is capitalism.
But let me bring up another point too, though, is like this week there was a solicit that came out for a new Elektra book that we talked about.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you can go pull the tweet up, but essentially in previews, they posted an Elektra comic that's coming out, and no creators no writers, no artists, no nothing.
It was like generic, like tag text in there.
Yeah.
I mean, it looked like code, basically. So
it just said Elektra is the most badass assassin in the Marvel universe, and I was like, who the fuck would pre-order this book?
Yeah,
I mean, look at that.
Look,
that is
fact, noun, fact, definition of fact. This looks like papers I get from students. I mean,
Webster's dictionary defines fact as.
Yes.
I mean this is a middle school paper. I mean, this is so. Would you buy this book based on the cover alone?
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's one. I mean, if it was a Scotty Young cover, I would say yes too.
Hold on, let me see if I can find the full cover.
But they were really bitching in there because people who wrote on that book now have to go out and pitch it themselves. And the store said they're only going to do pre-orders on this now. So print is even harder now because Marvel's making it harder with shit like this.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't want to complain about comics the whole time on here, but I do want to complain that Marvel doesn't do the best job with their creators. And now with Substack, I feel like we're gonna see a lot less attention to print, and Marvel's going to look to see how they can make money that way.
So that's what the full cover looks like.
I mean, that's a cool cover. If I saw that in a store, I would be interested. But why is there not even a listing of? I mean, this comes out next month. Why is there no listing of the creators even on the cover? This thing clearly is probably going to the press or gone to the press. I mean, you would think it would be on the cover. So
yeah, all we see is we know Romita did the cover, and that's about it.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, the only reason I would hide the author is if it was R.L. Stine doing another comic, because
Elektra's gonna talk. Excellent. Everyone gets to talk now. Yeah, we to Clay's point, we did have a few professionals chime in, and I think it's kind of lost now because maybe it's on the original tweet. Yeah, Charles Soule replied, and like you said, he kind of had to say like, I'm in this book, and then he actually gave a pitch that maybe there. Also, Chris Conroy, who's an editor, I believe, at DC, chimed in and said like, look, sometimes I've had to put out a statement like what are they called, descriptions like this. So he's seen it before. He's not condoning it. He's just saying like, look, as an editor, I'm playing devil's advocate a little bit. Like, whoever did that is just doing their job. Like, they need to put something out based on the parameters that I'm sure like somebody else told them to. So
that's just,
but yeah, I get it,
because they don't. I mean, Marvel, its own staff is not that big. So it's almost like they have somebody doing it and nobody checking. There's nobody proofing work there. They're just cranking it out.
Yeah, these people maybe should unionize to have better work conditions.
I don't think that's working out for those Image guys either.
Well,
it's not. Why?
What do you mean? The Image is all about the creators.
Well, no, because the union that they got for them, they wouldn't recognize.
Yeah, and I think
they didn't recognize it. I hadn't heard that.
Not immediately. They're gonna say they're gonna take it to a vote, but that union's actually for the employees of Image, like the staff and everybody.
Yeah,
right.
Because creators are still like freelance, and there's this whole other thing. But yeah. All right. Well, let me bring down the levity, the seriousness of the issue again. By talking about some of the other stuff I watched.
Well, we're just trying to bring the news to the people why your comics aren't going to be here, and and then it just led into why you don't know what your comics are, or who's writing and drawing your comics that you're pre-ordering.
Why you don't know that you want that comic book? Yeah, because if I see Charles Soule name on a book, I'm gonna at least pick up the first issue.
Yeah, I mean, there are writers out there that I seek out, and if I see someone doing a book that I go, oh. Yeah, that's going to be good just because that person's on it.
And it shouldn't be just like, oh yeah, Donny Cates has a new book. Okay, sure. Obviously, he's one of your biggest writers. You're going to promote that stuff. But like, all your staff is talented and they bring their own stuff to the book. So you should promote them. Like you should try to leverage the creators as much as you can to promote your material. Um, so I watched a lot of Rocky movies because this week we got the release of Rocky 4, Rocky versus Drago, which is Sylvester Stallone's director's cut of the movie. I love the Rocky franchise. I'm a big fan. I really like the Rocky 4 was already my favorite movie prior to this release of the new version. And I really like the new version. Like it makes the movie feel more serious and it raises the stakes a little bit. It takes out some of the goofy stuff.
Yeah.
Because that movie can get a little goofy in the beginning.
Is that the robot one?
Yeah, that's the one with the robot. I will say, as a slight spoiler, the robot is gone. No more robot for Polly.
I love Polly, though. Polly, my favorite description of Polly is if you took an Italian meatball and rolled it in an ashtray.
Isn't that Meatwad? Like what?
Yeah, I'll say this. Rewatching the movies, I'm not the biggest fan of the character of Polly, especially from the first one.
Yeah. He's a rough character.
He doesn't treat his sister very well. And even Rocky, the way he gets the first date feels a little like if you were watching that scene just on its own now of like, you know, how they go up to his apartment and he kind of won't let her leave. And you're like, Rocky, stop being problematic, dude. Let her go.
I'm telling you, like, the things that were acceptable in movies in the 70s is really messed up. And that's what we grew up on as Gen Xers, not including Wolverine 97 over here.
The things that would get you an Oscar in the 70s. Right? Because movie won, he won for the screenplay, right?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. Well, and hey, I'll just say, like, we were rewatching Northern Exposure. There's some stuff in that is not acceptable anymore.
Really?
Like,
what did you see?
So there is.
That was a very progressive show.
No, it was. So there's stuff that feels progressive, right? Like like there's one episode where God, I just blanked on his name. The astronaut guy. No, the astronaut.
I know
it's not Howling.
I know.
Yeah,
it's the actor's name is Barry Corbin.
Right.
Audience, please give us a second while Mike.
Please. But he's selling a house to a gay couple, but he doesn't know they're a gay couple. He figures it out at some point. It's progressive in the sense that he recognizes he's wrong, but it ultimately comes down to just the fact that they're going to pay him more money. And then he's accepting of them. And then in the very, like, I was looking forward to it because I remember it stuck out in my brain so much. In the very last episode of season 2 is the one where Maggie, spoiler for a show from a long time ago, Maggie's boyfriend dies by getting hit by a satellite. And first off, that whole sequence is funny, but it goes on so long that it becomes uncomfortable. But the subplot of that episode is that or maybe the one before it is that Howling and his girlfriend, you know, there's a huge age difference between them. He's in his like mid 60s, she's in her early 20s. She feels left out, that she doesn't understand the experiences that Howling had back in like the 50s. So she tries to like teach herself, which is cute, except it all comes down at the end where basically Howling tells her, and I'm directly quoting here because it's stuck in my brain, I don't love you for your mind. I love you for your body.
Wow.
And I walked away going, that is so enormously problematic. Why is this in the show? Right. So I don't know. There's this stuff that really it's not as bad as, you know,
okay.
I bought the DVDs years ago when they were released, and they're, you know, so that's how I've been watching them. It's really hard to find.
I'm pretty sure Lego knows what DVDs are, but can you tell the rest of the I'm just kidding.
But I do want to point out though, if you're searching for Northern Exposure and you want the original airing and music, you have to find the UK Blu-ray because because if you watch like what Josh and I own, Northern Exposure had some incredible music that they can't afford to put on all, so they just put in filler music, and
it's awful.
It's awful music, but the original music fit the story, so it just brought everything so much more complete. But if you want to find the original one, it's not streaming anywhere that I know of in its original format. You have to find the UK Blu-ray to get it.
That is good to know, because I was even like, we were halfway through the first season.
It's a top 10 show for me. I recommend it to everyone. It's very progressive, and for the 90s, it was a show about odd people standing out that didn't exist yet.
Like, right? Yeah.
It's hard to explain.
It was a show that very clearly spun off of the popularity of Twin Peaks, and it just doubled down on the weird. But not the weird in a way where it's like weird for weird's sake. It's like they double down on the weird, and then they're like, we're gonna make comedy and drama around this, right? And it worked. And so don't get me wrong, I'm not disappointed going back and rewatching it. It's a fantastic show. There's just some stuff that does not hold up anymore at all. For the
90s, you also had
for the 90s.
For the representation that was never seen before, you had Chris in the Morning and his brother are black.
Yeah.
And they never really it's an issue, but it's a non-issue on the show. You know, it's like racial issues are dealt with way differently. LBGT representation, the couples that are on there are, you know, in the 90s, you just got feminine men. That's all that ever played gay couples, and they were over the top. And in these shows, you have a gay couple that are just two guys that are in love, and you see their story, and it's not, you know, over the top, beaten to death. The founding fathers of Sicily, Alaska, were founding lesbians. It was a lesbian
that's right.
couple
I forgot about that. Yeah,
you know, and they tell that story. I mean, it's progressive in that, because if you look at a lot of 90s shows, there's none of that. And this was done at a time when CBS didn't have CSI, didn't have all these franchises, and it was weird that they catered in this one show to progressives, where now CBS is just a channel for old people.
It would be interesting if Paramount Plus brought this back. Like, I mean, not like revise it. I mean, like, put it streaming on their service, because like you're saying, Legoland, it is nowhere to be found. It is really hard to find this straight people in the 90s.
They were doing their best. That's
yes, that is absolutely true.
I guess so. I hope so.
Sorry, I totally derailed the show.
No,
it's fine.
It's fine. The next thing I watch is not the best, but I did want to bring it up because I'm sure a lot of people are watching it. I watched the movie Red Notice with Ryan Reynolds and The Rock and Gal Gadot.
What the hell is this? I didn't even know this existed.
Oh my God. It has been the most heavily promoted Netflix movie. Yeah. All The Rock did was promote it last night, and I was like, Jesus fucking Christ, dude.
I mean, it's their most seen thing or something according to their tweets. But we'll never know because Netflix won't let us see the data. Listen, if you like The Rock or Ryan Reynolds or Gal Gadot or all three, or some sort of combination of the three, I guess you can watch this movie. It's so long and it's just convoluted and it's not very good. But then at the end, I was like, okay, I like whatever you just pitched in the last 15 minutes. I would watch a movie of that.
Is it all just a prelude to the sequel? Is that what's going to happen?
I mean, I'm sure there's going to be a sequel because I'm sure this is making Netflix a bunch of money. And I get it, their star power alone. But other than them three, there's like two other people with names in this movie. Like two other characters overall. I'm pretty sure. Like they name other people, but they're not like.
Please don't say Kevin Hart.
Oh no, I just mean like two other actors that have 2 other characters with actual names.
Okay, he's
everyone
in
else
everything, and now that him and The Rock are buddies, it's like,
yeah.
Do I have to see Kevin Rock again?
Everyone else in this movie either has no lines, they're an
Kevin
extra,
Hart.
or like some kind of stunt double, or like no, there wasn't even like a fun cameo from anyone.
Weird.
Which
What
I
a
know
weird.
these movies do.
Is it like a crime movie? Like, what's the plot?
Yeah,
it's a heist.
It's a heist.
Art heist. Isn't it like Ryan Reynolds is the criminal who's been caught, and he's had to help The Rock catch another art thief that's Gal Gadot. So
yeah,
Thomas Crown affair with little plot, more action, and from I don't know. I kind of want to crap on the last Ryan Reynolds movie, that he did for
Free
Netflix.
Guy.
No. What was it?
15, the Michael Bay movie.
Yeah. I've never been in the middle of an action movie and just turned it off because it was just
me too. I got 15 minutes into the movie. I was like, I can't with these cuts.
Yeah. Yeah, you're just like,
I'm busy.
Like, what's the story? What's happening?
There is no story. They're just driving around with quick cuts of action.
I don't know who they're getting to do some of these movies because they just put like the actors in it people want to see, but the stories and the filming and the editing are all terrible.
We collectively, as a society, need a vote of no confidence in Michael Bay. Like, we need to just put that out there. Like, you've made way too many movies. Just stop.
I will give him Armageddon.
I'll give him Armageddon. It's stupid, but I'll give it to him.
Oh yeah, it's stupid. I love everything about that, but I want to see Steve Buscemi in space going crazy. I mean, I want to see.
Yeah.
I mean,
except you can get the same thing by just watching the Ren and Stimpy episode of Space Madness, because basically Steve Buscemi is Ren. I mean, that's all there is to it. So, if I were going to make a live action Ren and Stimpy movie, it would be Steve Buscemi. And I don't know who else. Who would be Stimpy? Anyway, sorry, I'm derailing it in. Go on.
Hollywood would probably pick
Chris Pratt.
Oh God, can you imagine if they make a movie with the Ren and Stimpy with Chris Pratt and James Corden? Gross.
Don't say that name on the
show. Yeah, no. That's the nightmare version of the Ren and Stimpy movie. So. Cut all this. Cut all of it. Just go on, Daniel.
Oh, we've been taken down by YouTube. I'm sorry. Yeah, I should have.
For bad mouthing Chris Pratt and James Corden.
I will end on a high. He needs something. Yeah. I will end on a high. I'm in the middle of rewatching Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. IMAX enhanced because we need more screen.
Nice.
Yeah. Now, did you go through all the IMAX movies that Disney rolled out?
I will actually for the show. So just real quick, I did look into what it is, the IMAX enhanced stuff. So most movies are shot in the 239 format, which is a widescreen format. And a lot of them, when they go to IMAX, they do have either they already shot it or they crop it to fit the 190 ratio. Now this isn't as tall as the Zack Snyder's Justice League, where it ended up being almost pretty much
like a square.
Yeah. But according to this article from Wired, you get 20% more of the screen in this format, and you pretty much it almost does away with the black bars on your TV.
Yeah, so that's how you'll notice the difference, because if you go into the menu in Disney Plus, it'll actually show you the screen and how it's enlarged for IMAX. And not seeing the original Shang-Chi, we just watched it in IMAX, so I don't know what we got better from it.
Also, if you have like a surround sound or something, like in if your system supports it, if they also loaded like the Dolby Atmos audio and all that, so like you can definitely have a better experience. Let me see. They did release 13 movies on IMAX.
The first Iron Man.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go. So it's Shang-Chi. Also Iron Man, Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2, Captain America: Civil War, which is a shame that they didn't do Winter Soldier. I would have liked to have seen that. Doctor Strange, which Scott Derrickson had some thoughts about on Twitter.
Really?
Since he directed that movie, and he said that he would never intended people to watch it on that format.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
Now I definitely want to see it.
Thor Ragnarok, Black Panther, Infinity War, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Captain Marvel, Endgame, and Black Widow. So probably after Shang-Chi, I'm gonna rewatch Black Widow because that's the other one I've only watched that once when it came out.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, that's it. So I end on a little bit of a high because man, Shang-Chi's so good. I will say
it
this.
It is. I did love it.
You finally watched it?
Yes.
Oh, great. I'm glad. We could talk a little bit more if you want when we get to your stuff.
Yeah.
Or we'll transition into that if you want. But yeah, I really as I was watching it, I paused it. There's a really natural stopping point for that movie. And this quick spoiler for it, when before they go to the whatever the village is called, I forget.
Te Lao.
Yeah, Te Lao. Before they go there, like after they escape from the dungeon, like, and then it kind of turns into a completely different movie, right?
Yeah.
So good stuff. Go check out some of the reviews that are on the channel. But all right, Clay, you want to walk us into whatever you start? I mean, we can start with Shang-Chi if you want.
Yeah, Shang-Chi. I mean, I love Simu Liu. I watched Kim's Convenience, and dude's hilarious, and that's a great show. And seeing him come on here and be this fucking awesome action star is incredible. I love the bus fight.
Yeah. Oh, that fight's so good.
So good.
I mean, I'm just trying to think of some of the best fights in the MCU, and this. Probably after I watch it a few more times, this may be in the top 5.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think of other moments that were filmed, shot. The exteriors around it are really good. The bus splitting in half. Aquafina's comedy.
Oh, man. So, all right, I'm old, so I don't know who she is. This is my first experience with her. She totally steals that movie, and that is a hard thing to do when you look at the rest of the cast. But she is phenomenal in that movie, and that whole bus scene was just killer. It's so good.
They know how to use Ben Kingsley. They just sprinkle him in, and every scene is perfect with him.
So good.
Aquafina doesn't dominate in terms of like comedy. She is really integral to who he is, and the way his character the way Shang-Chi's character unfolds, and I really love that. I have 2 questions I want to present though. We did see Emil. We saw the Abomination working with Wong. And we also see regular Banner. We don't see Smart Hulk.
Right.
So what changes have happened that the Abomination is actually working with Wong? Is he trying to maintain? Is he trying to become Emil again because he doesn't go by the Abomination? And what happened to Bruce Banner that the Smart Hulk isn't there anymore?
I suspect we're going to learn about each of these things in
She-Hulk.
Definitely. Although it'd be cool if Wong shows up in She-Hulk, but I bet we're going to learn about all of that in She-Hulk. I do wonder, we're clearly going to get more of Wong in the next Doctor Strange movie because he's in the trailer. So, and he's on vacation somewhere. So is that him going to the fighting ring?
That's No Way Home.
Oh, No Way Home. Damn it. You're right. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
yes. No Way Home. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we can talk more when we get to She-Hulk because we do see Banner there, and he is in his Smart Hulk form. So maybe he can just go back and forth. But in the movie, his arm was hurt. Right, he was still in the sling.
He's still in the sling.
In the TV show, it looks like it's not anymore, unless the image is reversed and is the other arm.
Okay, I mean, he's strapped down in the thing. I wonder if it's going to come about because of creating She-Hulk, right? Like if giving, I don't know if they're going to go with the original origin of him giving her the blood transfusion or what, but clearly there's a moment where he's going to do something of giving himself to her to create She-Hulk, and if that's going to get rid of Professor Hulk or make it more he can control it. I don't know.
And for anyone who is excited about the She-Hulk show and does not know the lead actress, watch Orphan Black, and it will blow your mind, because it's Tatiana
Maslany.
Maslany, yeah. She is so good and plays, I believe, 5 or 6 different roles. I can't remember the amount of roles she plays in that show.
It's a lot.
I am so excited to see her just focus on She-Hulk in this TV show.
Yep.
I will save it for our discussion in a bit, but I want to come back to that particular trailer, and actually all the trailers. You can tell by my name.
Yeah, we'll talk about them in a minute.
Yeah.
Okay. What was the other question you posed, Glade? So we have Wong and
it was
Wong
and
the Abomination.
And then there's now Professor Hulk.
Yeah, there's no Professor Hulk. So there's stuff going on, and I wonder if Doctor Strange, Wong are all trying to work with the gamma radiation people to find a balance, because Abomination has never been controllable, and he was able to call him and walk through a portal.
Yeah.
And are we getting Tim Roth back?
That would be cool. Now, but here's my question. You said he didn't go by the name Abomination. Wasn't that his fighting name? Did he just refer to him as Emil on a 1-to-1 level?
Yeah, I think Wong calls him Blonsky or Emil, but then...
Yeah. But when they introduce him, it's like the Abomination.
The Abomination, like his stage name.
Really cool.
Right.
Really cool fight there. Really cool fight with the siblings, Xialing and Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
What I was gonna say is, I would watch a whole Disney Plus TV show of Tony Leung, just like his travels with the 10 Rings.
Yeah. That would be good.
Like the opening, we got a little taste of like what he's been doing. Yeah, because he mentioned that he was Kong the Conqueror, or not Genghis Khan.
Yeah,
right. He said that was one of his previous names, and there's other stuff. So yeah,
that'd be a solid show just to bring back that actor, because again, like that cast is rock solid. It is such a good cast.
Oh yeah, I loved Michelle Yeoh, like when she shows up.
Yep.
And we get,
I
mean, I love the world building. You start with this bus fight. You go through dragon flying and magic and a world. I love the car chase through the trees. I mean, there was just so many moments that were just kind of kept me on the edge of my seat.
My only complaint, but my biggest complaint with the movie, this is something Marvel does all the time. Why would they kill Death Dealer, and then Death Dealer also went out like a chump?
Yeah. I really wondered about that, because it's like that was a very Darth Maul kind of death. Like you could have hyped this guy, and then
look, nothing against Razor Fist, but if I had to pick, let me keep Death Dealer.
Yeah, and they gave him one hand. In the comics, he doesn't have either hand, and it would have been.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, because he needs it for driving. He needs it to drive that dope ass Razor Fist car.
That was hilarious.
I will.
That's the Lego set I want. Is that fucking car?
I will provide a counter argument, Daniel, and I will say that he had to die the way he did because I think it sets the stakes up right at the end, right? So I don't know, but to your point, Quinn, I hadn't thought of this. Shang-Chi is structurally scaled beautifully, right? It starts at a very ground level and works its way up to like dragons, and you never feel like they're making an impossible leap. Like it just scales wonderfully from one to the next. So
yeah, I mean, really, the journey you kind of have to kind of stretch yourself a little bit is Awkwafina becoming this kind of archer, and then but they do it really well at the end in the way they explain everything.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So I will give them that degree of latitude that even though she comes in as a person who just drives cars, she learns to be an archer, has a few cool hero moments, and they don't make her the love interest, and I love that.
I know. I was so happy about that. I just want. It is so refreshing to see two characters like that just be good friends, right? It doesn't have to be about romance. They nailed that. I was so happy. I will say this as well. I agree with you with the kind of logical leap that occurs there. I think Aquafina pulls it off because even when she goes to make that shot, there is still a moment of doubt. And even when she makes it, she's still kind of like, oh, you know, and to me, that felt like, okay, she was applying what she learned, but she's still uncertain of it. And that was beautiful to me, the way that's again why I walked away from that movie just really liking her and her role in the film. So
yeah, I had not seen her and watched her on SNL, and that was probably one of the best SNL performances I've seen, and I was like, she's killer. So I was excited to see her in this.
You may like her show Nora from Queens, Clay.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's on HBO Max, right?
I think it is. Yeah, it is now. See, at least the first season. The second season was airing recently, but I think you would like it because it gets a little weird with the humor.
Okay, good.
There's also a lot of stoner jokes, which I don't know. Those may be up your alley. I don't know.
Daniel's not casting aspersions at all.
I really like the first season. The second season got a little too weird, and I'm like, I might have to come back and revisit this.
Okay.
But yeah, Shang-Chi, I think immediately made it to. I'm looking at my rankings. I put it at number 8 right now on my MCU ranking, right after Black Panther. And before Thor Ragnarok. So
wow,
yeah, and
it's nice that it's an IMAX, and it's definitely a rewatch for me.
It's probably also maybe my favorite origin. I still love the Iron Man origin, but that one felt like that one straight up. I guess I'm more interested in Shang-Chi because I didn't fully know what his origin was from the comics. I just kind of like always got into the middle of the story of his stories.
I think that's why I love Captain Marvel and Shang-Chi, is because they have complicated backgrounds and they've straightened them out in the movies. I mean, Carol has such a weird background if you go through the comics.
Yeah.
You know, it's nice just to streamline it in a movie, and if people come and start reading the comics because of that, that's great, because you're going to get the Captain Marvel now. I think you've got problematic Captain Marvel in the 80s.
Oh gosh, yes.
When she was Miss Marvel, I'm sorry. Yeah, there's a weird storyline where she has to raise her own.
No, that's the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah, I don't want to say the bad R word, but
yeah. Anyway,
we'll skip that.
We'll skip
that. The problem with Shang-Chi was Fu Manchu was always his father, and Fu Manchu was this Chinese stereotype that was just very negative in the community and not the best representation. But you're still showing an evil villain who's a father to a son, and the change in this made it so much better. And their battle was good because you saw a guy who could change. You know, I want to say compare him to like Darth Vader because he was so evil, and then this woman who changed him. But then when she was gone, his desire grew so much that he would go to by any means to bring her back from death.
Right.
Like that kind of mania.
Yeah, which is a very classic story, right? I mean, there's a lot of stories for just mythology of like a love that transcends death, you know, and trying to bring them back from that. So
production on this was incredible. I loved seeing just all the details, like the dragon scales and how they were used. The just when Shang-Chi is underwater, that moment, and he sees the dragon, his dad, and the use of the 10 rings and how they've changed them from jewelry to these.
I didn't mind that the rings don't do what they do in the comics. I guess it's understandable why they changed it. And then I also love. I love the implication at the end that they're from extraterrestrial origin in that end credit scene, and that maybe they sent out a signal. And all I could think of in my head when I saw that at the theater, I was like, "Fing Fang Foom, is he coming to get the rings? Like, who's it calling out to?" So,
yeah, I'm just super excited because we now have a whole new mythology and a whole new supernatural area to explore.
Yeah,
we have two different movies that give us like full new world building of stuff, right? With this and Eternals,
which is again, I think, such a good thing that the MCU is doing, right? There could have been a path where they built the world and then just got bogged down in it, and instead, it seems like at key moments throughout what we've seen so far, they're like, no, we're going to stop. We're going to expand the world. They did it with Captain Marvel. They did it with Doctor Strange. They did it with Black Panther. Now they're doing it with Shang-Chi. They're doing it with the Eternals. It's like they recognize there are these moments where instead of limiting the world building, they're just going to add to it and provide more storytelling opportunities, which is fantastic. So
yeah, Te Lao is just one of the 7 cities. So Kunlun is the other one. So are we going to get to see Iron Fist?
And is it going to be the same as the Netflix Iron Fist, or is it going to be different?
I hope it's Jen. I hope it's Jen. What was her last name? I'm sorry, that got the Iron Fist at the end of the series. Henwick? Is that her name?
Oh, Jessica Henwick.
Jessica, yeah. Because I would love to see her as Iron Fist.
That's cool.
Yeah. Well, she'll be in the Matrix 4. So. All right. What else, Clay? What else have you been up to?
Not much of anything. I don't have much.
You don't read much stuff? Okay.
Oh, wait. You know what? We didn't, because the other show, I didn't get to talk about it. Have you guys seen Bob Ross, Happy Accidents, Betrayal, and Greed on Netflix?
I want to. It's in my queue. I haven't gotten around to it yet.
I highly recommend it.
Cool.
It is his son and someone that worked with him, and the history of Bob Ross. There's a lot of like evil doings with his property name.
Right.
But it's interesting to see his life and how it was lived. And here's when I kind of wanted to see if you guys wanted to talk about it. The life and lost art of, I cannot say this guy's name.
You brought this up last time, or
I did.
Maybe we talked about it afterwards. But yeah, I'd never heard of this, and it sounds incredible. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry, go on.
The Life and Times of Kalski, I believe is his name.
It's Polish, right? So
it's Polish. It's on Netflix.
Let me see it.
He's a Polish sculptor who lived in America, and this guy discovers his art in a bookstore and comes to realize that the guy lived really close and became friends with him. And so he started filming and recording him and talking about him, and because he had done all this artwork that he was kind of really obsessed with. And so you learn the history of this guy and some of the things he was actually able to save from Poland. And then you learn his backstory. And he was very much a nationalist, anti-Semitic, pro-Poland kid. And I will say kid because he looks like he's in his late teens, early 20s when he's doing this. He's writing hate material. He's not a very good person.
Yeah.
And then Poland was invaded. His artworks were destroyed. Stuff that had been around all of Poland had been destroyed by the Nazis. He fled, came to America, and kind of rediscovered himself. Throughout the story, as it unfolds, what kind of bad person he was. And I say bad person in the preaching of hate.
Right.
You know, his anti-Semitism and stuff, he never brings up again. Like, as he meets this guy was so impressed with his artwork, his sculpting, and just kind of loved that appreciation of art. But this guy never talked about his old life. And he goes, so the guy who did the film felt like, like he didn't talk about that because he was ashamed of it. He didn't believe that stuff anymore, or at least when he was around us, we never saw that. We always saw this guy who he did want to talk about his art. He did want to share, and he would hijack and just talk about himself. But then and it's weird because, this guy preached hate, but this guy lost everything. I mean, he lost so much artwork. And how do you define that when a guy's been that way? Do you always go, well, he preached hate and he helped bring about, I don't know. When you preach hate, you have a lot of power in your voice and the way you motivate people. And he was, an art guy, and he was kind of, he had a strong voice, and he could be printed in newspapers for what he was saying. And to use that against other people is fucked up. But to grow from it and realize it, he just never admitted to the fact that he had done it and that it was bad and moved on. He just practiced being a better person. So, I mean, how would you accept that nowadays? I mean, everyone seems to have a mea culpa if you do something bad and say, I'm sorry, and try to move on and be a better person. But do you accept their art? I mean, on this show, a lot of times we see a lot of people who work in the comics industry are just fucking awful. And we've been fans of their stuff for a long time, and it just kind of numbs the fun of that book.
Yeah. Yeah. God, that's fascinating. I can't, I've got to watch it because I'm really intrigued by both portions of it. Right. It reminds me a lot, and I feel like I've brought this up before, but it reminds me of the same sort of ideas that Kurt Vonnegut plays with in his novel Mother Night, which, if you've never read it, go read it. It's great. Okay. It is one of the rare Vonnegut books that has been turned into a movie that's as good as the book. It's Nick Nolte is in it.
Okay.
But the basic plot is the main character is an American who during World War II was living in Germany, before the war starts. He's married to a German wife, and he is a propagandist. And he gets asked by the German government, by the Nazis, to become an English-speaking American propagandist for the Nazis. What the Nazis don't know is that he's spurred into this because he is a double agent. American intelligence comes to him and says, if you do this, you will be on the inside. So the book takes place in the 1960s. He's living back in the US. His wife has died. He lives alone, and people are seeking him out, and they all hate him because he was so good at what he did. They think he is a traitor. They think that he is a Nazi. And the book deals with the fact of what happens if you don't believe any of that, but you prove to be so good at it. Like you're saying, it reaches people and changes their mind. Like, where's the line there? It is a fascinating book. And again, the movie is stunning. It's really good. So
yeah. The only last thing that I have to offer is I'm finally finishing one of my quests to I love Old Boy. I love the movie. I don't want to see the remake, the Spike Lee remake. I love the original. I've hunted down the manga. This is the last one. I've been sitting on it so that the story's still there. I'm going to finish it this week. But do you guys have books that you kind of don't read the last one because you kind of enjoy that world still existing in your head?
I haven't finished Punisher season 2, so I don't run out. So I don't run out world, man. So I don't run out of Netflix world. No, just so I don't run out of Netflix shows.
I mean, I kind of did that with Starman, but I did finally finish it. So
yeah, well, that's a great world to play in.
It is definitely. But I didn't it took me 20 years to finally read all of it because I just, there was, I mean, it was partly I just stopped like subscribing to comics when I went to grad school. So that was part of it. Yeah. But also I didn't want the story to end, and so, but I finally did.
Yeah. That's all I got.
All right, Josh, let's hit your stuff and then we'll do.
Yeah, I'll do mine super fast. I've actually been reading some comics, which I know comes as a shock to everyone. I read only because I got it in a Humble Bundle like years ago. It was manga to anime bundle, and as part of it was like I think the first 15 volumes of the 7 Deadly Sins. By I'm going to say his name wrong, by Nakaba Suzuki. And I don't know. I like fantasy. I like comedy. He's got a talking pig. What's not to like about this? I finally read all the first volume. Really enjoy it. It sets up a very fascinating world and a kind of narrative arc there. The main character is weirdly horny, which kind of bugs me a little bit. There's a lot of body grabbing just going on. But what I do appreciate is that every time he does it, the pig remonstrates him. There's always just like, oh, come on, man, stop doing that, So it's not perfect, but
the pig is the moral voice in the story.
The pig is the moral voice. But I am kind of curious because I do want to watch the anime now, which is on Netflix. I think they have it because I am curious if that little problematic portion comes through or not. Because I think it is something my daughter would like, but I don't want her to see that stuff. So
yeah,
Leonidas is kind of a that's his name, right?
Yeah.
I watched.
Is that even in the?
Oh, I watched the first season. Yeah, that's still one of his traits.
Damn it!
It was okay. I don't remember. I think I just finished first season. I never went back when they brought it back. I know a lot of people complained that season 2 and further, like the animation kind of was not very good. But if you do watch it, let us know because I'd be interested to see.
I mean, in terms of the manga, I really like the art style. It just works well for the story. So I read that. The other thing I read is I kickstarted this and it finally came in. It is a Pathfinder one shot featuring the new alchemist iconic by the name of Fumbus. And what it's a fun, enjoyable one shot. What I really like about it is if you've never read any Pathfinder comics, you could jump into this. That said, if like me, you're a big dork and you've read all the Pathfinder comics, this ties into it. So cool. So it builds off of it, but I really like Fumbus as a character. He's funny. I don't know. It's a great book. The art's good. It's written by Fred Van Lint. The art is by Tom Garcia. Colors are by Vinicius Townsend and lettering by Tom Napolitano. So, but yeah, super fun. And because I was a Kickstarter and the book is expanded because of hitting some stretch goals. So it's like they give you all the stats for Fumbus.
Oh, cool.
And then what's really nice, the thing I really like, is they add new alchemical items and magic items and stuff just in the back matter.
So you're getting more than a comic. You're getting
you certainly are. You certainly are. And the thing is, I don't even know if Dynamite is going to put this out
on its own
in stores. Yeah, I have no idea what the plan for this is. So I'm glad I backed it. But yeah, super fun. If you can find it, get it. Pathfinder Special Fumbus. It's good stuff. And then we're still doing the Doctor Who rewatch. We're about halfway, maybe 2/3 of the way through the first Matt Smith season. So, yeah.
Cool.
That's it.
All right.
That's all I've been doing.
All right. Well, cool. So now, I do want to show you all something real quick. I was trying to figure out what I was going to recommend this week. And I ran into this, and I wanted y'all to give me your opinion. So, This is a comic from Second Sight Publishing, which seems like a very small indie.
Yeah.
And it's called These Damn Kids.
Yeah.
And it just reminded me of like Damn Cursed Children.
Damn Cursed Children
book. Now this one looks like they're more like serial killers based on this.
Yeah.
Not so much whatever
not
type of zombies, but I was like, huh, interesting.
Like
it even has the same.
It's a tiny Court of Owls Jr.
Yeah. So I don't know. I thought that was interesting, just because we had the creators on for the other book, and it was interesting how they. I mean, this book looks pretty similar in concept overall.
Yeah.
But, all right. So now onto our main topic, which today is Disney Plus Day happened. I do want to say so
on my birthday. Sorry. Just had to get that in there.
We arranged it with all the investors.
You did. I really appreciate that.
You're welcome, Josh.
Yeah.
So overall, as far as the event itself, before we get into what was shown, it was a little underwhelming because last year, I don't understand it's a different thing. It was more the Investor Day call presentation.
Yeah.
But I like that. Like, I really like when you kind of make a whole event of it. Like, I don't understand why Disney couldn't make an event of Disney Plus Day to promote all the new stuff. You know, I think DC fandom is very successful. I thought the Netflix Tadam, although it was a little bit more scattered, it wasn't just like one concise event. Like,
but it was their first time too.
Yeah. And Disney, with all their resources and people and everything they have to offer, like, we're just gonna drop. I don't even know. I think you just watch everything on Disney Plus. Like, they just threw a bunch of videos on Disney Plus. I don't know how it worked. They're not on YouTube. They're like, I had to go scour Twitter to find the trailers.
Which is weird because you would think with these announcements, they should be as shareable as possible, right? And
I would hope so.
I don't know.
It almost seems like they had like a deal with, like, I think IGN had a trailer and this group had a trailer. So I think it was kind of like, well, if we feed these social feeds, I don't know what the business end of it is, but it doesn't seem beneficial if you just want to watch Disney Plus and follow that.
Yeah. Here we go. Not sure why they dropped Disney Plus Day on Disney Plus. Where people are already paying for it? Like,
yeah.
No, that would be too much.
No, that is a perfect point. You know, yeah.
And they've lost subscribers, and they're trying to do deals to maintain and everything because they're cranking out a ton of entertainment. But
hey, Robo, how are you doing?
What's up, man?
Robo's we argue with DC movies with Robo Clay.
Yeah.
From I Freaking Love Comics. Shout out in the chat.
Yeah.
It's weird. So I'm glad you mentioned IGN because that's who did my homework. Or that's whose homework I'm gonna copy.
Which media outlet's the dog that ate your homework?
That's Bleeding Cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah, we're just gonna go through the article here. Let me give credit to Adam Bankhurst who put all this together. Specifically for this, probably I'm sure they had the foresight to be like, oh, next issue needs some content this weekend. So,
and this is what an interview. This is the Ewan McGregor interview.
This is just the article with everything for the day.
Okay.
So I will use this as a talking point, and then it has pictures and stuff, so we don't. So the one I haven't seen, I didn't watch this Kenobi. We'll start with Star Wars because I think we got the least information out of Star Wars. I would think, just based on all the stuff, like we didn't really get many updates. I think what people were excited for was Kenobi, and I mean, I get it.
And Boba Fett.
Yeah, but I think for Boba Fett, we didn't. We got the trailer a few days ago, whenever it dropped last week, maybe.
That's weird. Why did they not just save that for today? Like I don't understand the thinking here. I'm not a PR person, but it seems really weird.
Yeah, we'll get to the Moon Knight hype, Leonard Kim. Clay's going to tell you more about Moon Knight that you ever wanted to hear about. So we have the little behind the scenes for Kenobi. We know
cool.
Ian McGregor. Ian McGregor's going to be there, and we're just here looking at some images from concept art. I've read in the comics a little bit of like what Kenobi was doing in between. There's a few comics that in the Star Wars series from 2014.
Yep, I remember that. Jason Aaron, right?
Yeah, they dwell back.
Yep.
They flash back to the days of in between the movies. But I mean, I don't know. Overall, I'm super excited. We know Christian Haydenson's coming back to reprise the role of Vader, which we can see here in this piece of concept art.
I'm so glad he's coming back, man. That guy is a better actor than people give him credit for.
Yeah.
And if I could just drop 2 movies, Shattered Glass.
That was what I was thinking of.
And Life as a House.
Life as a House. Yeah, those 2, man. He best performances of his career are those 2 films.
Yeah. I mean,
until hopefully he comes back as Vader.
Playing opposite to Kevin Kline is no easy task. So
that's a good point.
So these are the concept images. We got a little behind the scenes footage and talk from the director, but no actual trailer yet. So let's see.
I mean, are we just? To me, it seems like this is going to be a thing that's just going to be on Tatooine, and that's it. And I wonder, how is that going to be exciting? So,
well, but then when you see the concept art, it seemed like there's a lot of different. I mean, most of those locations did not look like what I envisioned Tatooine to be, right? I mean, it's like, so are we getting the story of how he gets to Tatooine, or is he going to have to leave Tatooine and not protect Luke for a period for some reason?
The key word I read was Jedi hunters. And so,
okay.
So I could easily see a lot of new bounty hunters that may be in this that may end up in the Book of Boba Fett. That would be kind of cool. I don't know. They've always done cool bounty hunters, so I'm here for that.
Yeah. All right. So we're getting this special of our Under the Helmet, The Legacy of Boba Fett, which I believe this is already on Disney Plus.
It is.
Which I'm going to check it out, and I haven't checked it out yet. So let's go into the Marvel stuff, and we'll come back to Moon Knight. I want to go through the logos and just kind of talk about it. I know, Clay.
I'm ready. I'm excited about all this stuff. I will say my one complaint about X-Men 97 doesn't have Nightcrawler, and that bums me out.
So can I ask what this is? I honestly don't know. What is X-Men 97?
This is just going to be a continuation of the 90s cartoon. So I guess you could call it season 6.
Yeah.
Is it
started in 90?
Sorry, good.
So the original animated show from Fox started in 92, ended in 97. So I think they're just going to pick up from there.
Is it going to have the same breathless pace? Because if so, I'm out.
I hope so.
God, I know I'm an outlier. I do not like that show. I don't like any of the 90s Marvel animated stuff.
You're wrong.
I know I am, but
there are a couple that are good. There's Nightcrawler in a couple. They do a Dark Phoenix storyline that was better than either movie.
Right.
I mean, really, that's the key thing. They do Dark Phoenix better than the movies did Dark Phoenix.
Yeah, because they gave it like 6 episodes or something. It was like almost half of a season that they ran it through the story.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that famous moment of Wolverine laying in bed stroking the framed picture of Jean Grey is one of the only moments in the show where
that's how they announced it.
That is so good. That is so all right. I applaud that.
But key marketing.
That is one of the few moments in the animated series where somebody is not talking. Right? I mean, that's the thing about those shows is that it is just bam, bam, bam. Like there is never a moment to stop and just take something in. And I think it's what's always bugged me about them. But anyway, I'll stop slagging on it.
Too much Gambit.
Oh no! Monsterese.
Except for that wonderful Twitter thread that finally explained Gambit to me that I posted in chat.
Yeah. The Gambit was just Gambit has come to the school just to cruise for some tail, and he always just shows up to fight, but he really isn't there for any other reason.
That's the problem too. I think most of the stuff was just on social media. So let's go through some logos that don't have any actual footage or anything. They just announced them.
Yeah.
Marvel Zombies. I hope this is an adaptation of the comic and not just something from the What If.
The What If,
because that was my least favorite episode of the What If series.
I agree.
Hold on, it skipped something.
It did skip one.
Maybe.
Wait, no.
What the?
Wait. Yeah, I see it too. It shows up in the background.
That's weird.
Right.
Whatever. We'll come back to it. I know what it is. So the Secret Invasion got a new logo.
I like it.
We did get a really cool picture of
is
Nick
that
Fury.
Animated or live action?
It's live action.
Oh wow. Okay. All right.
With Nick Fury as the lead.
Nice. So this explains what, like, at the end of Captain Marvel when he's in space, right?
Yes,
Right.
exactly.
Okay. This is gonna be good.
Spider-Man freshman year, which should take place before the movies, which is interesting because Spider-Man is a Sony feature, but Marvel does have the TV rights. So, I don't know what kind of interesting deal they have there. Also, are we gonna get to meet Uncle Ben finally in the MCU? Will we see him? Will we see him die again?
Have they even confirmed, like, is this going to be Tom Holland or is it going to be whoever replaces him after No Way Home?
Oh, bring Tobey Maguire back. Let him do it.
He's my age. There's no way.
Well, no, this is gonna be animated.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
Yeah.
I want
live action.
I want Nicholas Hammond to voice his teachers.
That would be, or Uncle Ben. That would be awesome. I would totally do that. This is gonna be good. Is this live action?
This is gonna be live action. Agatha, House of Harkness.
Nice.
I get a lot of House of M vibes where maybe we're just experiencing the world, and wherever Wanda left Agatha, like in what
she's created her own world.
Yeah.
Mm.
Also, she's kind of the gateway to all these like magic and sorcery characters that we seem like we're gonna get, which we'll get to a little bit when we talk more Moon Knight and stuff. We have Ironheart, which got a new logo, but
that's gonna be good.
No real announcement.
I gave out a ton of Ironheart comics for Halloween, so I'm super excited that a ton of kids just got this book, and now the show's coming out.
Clay,
good job, Clay.
His $1,000 comic there, he went to some child.
Or what will soon be a $1,000 comic once.
Clay just giving away 2 issues. We have the I Am Groot, which I think we'll explore maybe his origin more. Which
or
I think
Adventures of Baby Groot.
I would love to see when he met Rocket. Because Groot, like, whenever he dies and comes back, like, his memories are gone. He's almost a new being, but not really.
He is a different being. James Gunn has said is not Groot from the first movie.
Right.
Oh, interesting. All right.
So I'd like to see that. Maybe we'll get through, maybe live through some of his lives. Who knows? This I was not expecting.
What is this?
I know.
Echo?
Echo's a character from, I think
Daredevil.
In the MCU, you're correct. She's in Daredevil. But in the MCU, she will appear in Hawkeye. Her abilities to kind of like mimic fighting styles, kind of like Taskmaster.
Oh, okay.
And then in the comics, her father worked for the Kingpin, which already makes me excited. She has a lot of connections with Daredevil, which also makes me very excited because these may be the little back doors into bringing those characters back.
Vincent D'Onofrio, please.
Yeah.
Oh, I just would like to see him turn as the Kingpin.
I have to tell a funny anecdote real quick. So we were watching something last night, and my daughter and I were talking about like all the upcoming Marvel stuff, and she turned to me, she's like, they should do Daredevil. And I turned to her, I'm like, they did. She's like, what? I'm like, yeah, on Netflix. She's like, why didn't you tell me about this? And I paused and I'm like, it's
because
really
you can't
adult.
watch it.
I know, it's like you can't watch it. Like it is hard R-rated, and so she's like, oh, all right. But she was like super hyped for the potential of there being a Daredevil show she had never heard about before. So anyway, sorry, go on. I just thought it was funny.
No, that's great. Hopefully one day she will get to watch it.
Yeah,
because that
soon.
show is great.
I mean, it is. It's very. I mean, if I could just show her the fight scene at the end of episode 2, like
yeah, that first season hallway fight, man.
Oh God, so good.
So I'm excited.
Sorry, go ahead.
If you're not reading the current comics, Echo is wielding the Phoenix Force.
What?
Yeah. So
Damn. All right. For a character I've never even heard of before, that's impressive. So, yes. All right. I am so hyped for this.
Let's talk about. I think there's images for Ms. Marvel here.
There should be, yeah, because they did have a trailer.
So, what did you guys think of Ms. Marvel?
Loved it.
Snippet.
It was.
I loved it.
It was kind of a fractured trailer, but I like it because it didn't tell me everything I wanted to know. It just said, "Hey, look at this cool stuff for the show."
Yeah.
I would say, I think, the 3 main trailers we're going to talk about, of the 3, this was the most solid in how it presented what you might anticipate. I agree with you, Clay, it was fractured, but it was less fractured than the other 2, because you could end the trailer and, having read the comics, yeah, I know, I totally agree, Legoland. It's such a, okay. But having read the comics, it very clearly looks like they're doing the first volume, right? I mean, you get shots that are very clearly inspired by that first book. So I'm excited about that. The one thing I will say, I had the same reaction my daughter had when we got to the end of it, and you see her on top of the building wearing basically like the Captain Marvel outfit. Mm-hmm. And she looks like she's 10 years old. I mean, Hazel and I are both like, she is so young, but I think it's just the way that costume fits her. It clearly is bigger than she is. And then when you see, there's like a still shot of her later in like the actual Ms. Marvel outfit, she looks just spot on. It's great.
Agreed.
So yeah. Now, did they change her powers?
So yeah, it looks like both her origin and power. Oh shit, Clay's gone. I didn't even see that. It looks like, both her power set and her origin are a little bit different. In the comics, she gets hit with the Terrigen cloud that's rolling around.
Yeah.
In the trailer, it looks like she's hit by some kind of energy, whatever. Kind of, it almost looks like when Captain Marvel got her powers from the cube, right?
And it's from Captain Marvel. Like Captain Marvel's in the same space. So, but I really hope they don't change her power set, because I want to see that on TV. I want to see her hands get big and like wallop a chicken in a robot suit. Like that's my goal.
It almost
or my wish.
It almost looks like they're going to have her have constructs, but so like she herself will probably not expand like in the comics.
Okay.
But she will have constructs that expand, maybe a little bit more Green Lantern, less.
Okay.
I don't know if it's budgetary reasons or maybe they don't want to confuse people with Reed Richards, who doesn't even exist yet in the MCU.
Right. But here's my complaint. Like, I guess my fear when I read they're changing her powers was that they hadn't figured out the FX to make it look great yet, and maybe they were building towards that for Reed in the movie. But if they're going to have constructs that do the same thing, then just let her do it. Like I don't know. I will give it the benefit of the doubt. I'll wait and see what they do. But
I always think about how they've defined colors meaning certain things. So I think, and even if people have like teleportation powers, we've seen them use them differently. So I think they always try to want to individualize a power so that it looks like specific to that character.
Yeah. I will say one of the better story beats in her first volume is that because she can mold, she makes herself look more like Carol Danvers.
Yeah.
until she realizes she shouldn't. I mean, she doesn't have to do that. She could just be herself.
Yeah,
So
but she
I
can
thought
be
that was
inspired by, and I like
Yeah.
that. I like that angle.
And I hope they stick with that. I don't want her to be Captain Marvel Jr. I want her to be Ms. Marvel from the comics. Like to see Captain Marvel as a point of inspiration, but not directly mimic her, which is what worried me initially about seeing her in that full kind of Captain Marvel get up on top of the building. But I know we're gonna, because we've seen stills, we're gonna get to her in like the regular costumes.
I almost feel like that's remember in Spider-Verse when Miles went and just bought a costume for Spider-Man?
I thought that too.
I almost feel like it's something like that. So
well, and she, like in the first volume, it's set around Halloween, right? So she dresses up as Captain Marvel for Halloween. So I figured it has to do with that if they keep the time frame the same.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm hyped for it. So
all right, before we hit the main event, because that's what the people in the chat are here for.
I am so excited.
She-Hulk. Holy shit!
Can I? All right. Go ahead. I'll go.
I was just gonna say we saw very little of She-Hulk.
Nothing of She-Hulk. There's no shot of She-Hulk.
Yeah, you're right. It's just like the back. I think my favorite part of the trailer was the whole "You don't want to see me when I'm angry."
Yeah.
Throwback to the. So it was both a reference to the movie from Ed Norton, and also a reference to the TV show from the 80s, 70s, whenever.
70s. Yeah.
I don't know.
The 80s were the made-for-TV movies.
You guys remember that old show where that hitchhiker transformed into a green monster?
I will flip you off right now, man. I'm telling you. So
when did you become the Spider-Man of next issue?
Exactly. Remember that old movie, Empire Strikes Back?
Until we get somebody younger.
Okay, so I felt like, all right, and did they not say? I seem to remember there being an announcement that this was going to be kind of more the John Byrne She-Hulk, right? Am I wrong about that? Like it's supposed to be semi-comedic,
campy, and yeah, that's what I hope it's not.
I hope it's
I don't know. I don't know what I want from She-Hulk, but that was very campy, and it was more of a. They always showed her in various states of undress a lot,
which I don't want them to do that. But what I want, I don't know. This was not what I was expecting, and the entire trailer just made no sense to me at all. I honestly, to the point where, and this is my big critique about all three trailers, including the Moon Knight, which I quite liked. All three trailers leaned on voiceover, and you don't know who's talking, right? Yeah, that's exactly what I want. I want She-Hulk to be MCU's Boston Legal. That is nails it. That is what I want, right?
Can we get Ultron back as a lawyer? Ultron voiced by James Spader again, and
it's James Spader, and they bring Shatner into the MCU. So, but I just. Like, this was the worst of the three because there were two female voiceovers. I don't know which of them is the main character. And you saw more of Bruce Banner than her. Yep. It felt more like the 70s TV show, which I'm not against. But I thought the scene from behind, I thought that was Hulk. I didn't think that was She-Hulk.
Yeah. The costume that I kind of liked seeing the purple, what she's been wearing in the Avengers and stuff.
Right. Okay. I just, the whole thing just frustrated the hell out of me because I felt like it did a terrible job of setting up what the show is going to be. And if you want to get people hyped for a She-Hulk show, you need to explain who She-Hulk is, and that trailer did none of that.
Yeah. It didn't.
You see the main character on a subway station. And that's it. You see more of Bruce Banner in a club strapped to the thing. What the hell is this show? I don't know.
It's so weird because I remember Comic-Con when we heard Guardians of the Galaxy was going to show a trailer. And they showed 12 seconds and everybody was hyped as hell. And it was a cool thing. And even James Gunn said, I didn't know what they were going to use. they've had time and knew what they were going to do with this, and I feel like they kind of, didn't give us what we could have gotten in a better format. Like, here's a bunch of clips. Like, it just felt like a clip show of random stuff. And if you want to go read it, then you'll find out more.
It felt very random. Where, I mean, if you just compare it with the Ms. Marvel trailer, they're both about the same length. I think the Ms. Marvel might be a little shorter. That Ms. Marvel trailer does better setting up who the character is than literally anything in She-Hulk, right?
Yeah.
I mean, just it makes no sense.
I'm a woman.
Okay.
I'm an attorney.
Yes.
I'm green at times.
Wait a minute, but this isn't that trailer.
Oh,
this is not the trailer. This is not the trailer that I saw.
Oh, what did you see?
I saw a trailer. Okay, so I could be wrong then. I saw a trailer that was like someone on a subway, like a subway station, and she's watching some other woman from behind. And then you get some shots of Bruce Banner. He's in like a club. He's like strapped to a table.
I wonder,
it had none of anything you just showed me. None of it. So I feel like I'm slagging on the wrong thing.
At my comic shop, they go, "Didn't you see Matt Murdock in the trailer for She-Hulk?" And I go, "No." And now watching this, because this is what I saw, I don't see Matt Murdock in this. And he said that he saw Matt Murdock in a She-Hulk trailer. And I bet
it's so. Josh, I wonder if what you saw was like some kind of fan-made trailer. That they took Orphan Black footage.
I bet you're right. I bet you're absolutely right.
Yeah,
son of a bitch. I am so mad now. So very mad. All right.
But it must have been good enough that it pulled you in, because I've seen fan-made trailers where I'm like, whoa, is this real? Is this,
It didn't. Well, I guess it didn't pull me in. I don't know who the actor is. I haven't seen Orphan Black before.
Okay.
So I went into it cold. I had no idea what I was seeing. So now I'm just angry. Edward, please ignore everything I just said about the She-Hulk trailer.
But see, even that trailer just shows like lawyer, woman, Hulk.
All three.
That still looks way better than what I saw. So
all three of these, I uploaded them to the channel because I couldn't find them anywhere good. So I was like, I'm just gonna put them here. If Marvel takes them down, then they can take them down. But I want people to be able to see them.
Yeah, see, I saw this one. There she is at the end on the roof. Yeah.
And then you see her in the mirror.
Yeah. So I saw that one. I saw the Right Moon Knight one. I don't know what's going on. So
yeah, see, there are two heroes in the Marvel universe that I love because they're inspired by other heroes, and Ms. Marvel being one, and you're going to get to see it as a kid. Beta Ray Bill being another one, as like an alien who has been influenced by Thor. I love that kind of idea of somebody being so influenced and pursuing that like that.
Yeah.
And ironically, that's what makes She-Hulk so great, is she's not directly inspired by the Hulk. I mean, she was in the comics early on. In her own, she's just She-Hulk. I mean,
The origin of She-Hulk is from the TV show. It is when they did the original Lou Ferrigno, Bill Bixby show, they were going to create She-Hulk in the show. And Stan Lee was like, well, if they do it there, then they own the rights to She-Hulk. We better create a She-Hulk in the comics so that we own it. So She-Hulk was born.
Yeah.
Born out of corporate greed. I love it. So all right, let's give the people what they want. Because we have plenty of people that are here for Moon Knight. I did enjoy the other two. The only other thing that it's maybe worth mentioning, because I know it has a big fan base, they're doing a Hocus Pocus 2 with the original. With it's Beth Midler and
Kathy Najimy.
And then Sarah Jessica Parker. Yeah.
And they released a picture. I think they look great.
Doug Jones.
Oh, and Doug Jones.
He's
really? Oh, who was he in the?
He's original? What is it?
I've never seen it. I know I've
seen it one time. He's like an undead thing. Like for some reason I see a scarecrow in my head, but I'm on.
I'm glad we didn't. This may not be the right group of people to talk about that, but I know people will appreciate that.
Only 90s kids.
I was gonna say I've determined Hocus Pocus and the Goofy movie are these huge cultural touchstones for 90s kids that I never experienced because I was too old. So
Well, they'll be on Disney Plus. All right, Moon Knight. I mean, let's take a quick.
Hood up.
No sound, but well, maybe I can play the sound.
Hood up.
I wonder if it'll. Let's see. Let me know if you guys can. Yeah, no, it's weird. The sharing's been weird, but I'll just play the video still.
Yeah, it's
we can
fine.
talk over it. Man,
I find it. Sorry,
I'm excited for this. But go ahead, Josh.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I don't have anything insightful to say yet. I just like hyped for this.
It looks so good. I find the gloves weird. I'm assuming he's wearing like a Halloween costume or something, because the gloves are like really bulky and like I don't know. It's just you see them on the glass or on the ground.
Yeah, I like this. I like the this video is kind of dark, but I like that he walks away. He walks away, but his reflections stay behind.
Oh, that's what that is. I just thought that was someone in the background. So.
No, that's really cool. You're right. These gloves, whatever's happening here, I don't think this is from his actual.
That looks like Mr. That looks like Mr. Knight, though. Mr. Knight would wear gloves like that.
Or interesting.
Maybe this is his persona. That's like a museum curator or whatever. I don't remember all the. Clay can probably tell us more about the actual personalities.
Yeah, I can break them
Moon
down.
Knight. I hope he doesn't do the accent for all the personalities. I don't mind the accent, but I do want to hear Oscar Isaac's just regular voice.
Yeah.
Now, I did see an interview with him on Entertainment Tonight in Canada where he talked about the voices. He talked about the suit. It's like a 90-second little thing, but it was interesting because he goes, "Oh, I did the voices for my kid," and then I said, "What was it like to suit up and wear the suit and everything?" And he was excited about it. And to me, this dude is an actor that's on another level. So I think what he brings to Moon Knight will make this character be bigger than we've seen him in comics. I'm really excited to see this.
That's one of my favorite shots here.
Now, I don't know.
That is an awesome shot.
As far as Oscar Isaac, what y'all's go-to movies are, but honestly, for the little bit of time he was in Dune, he fucking kills in that. Like his scenes with Timothée Chalamet where he's a leader and a father. Like those moments are great. The one, what is it? What is the one where he created the robot and dances? Oh shit, I hate that.
Shit.
Machina.
Ex Machina, yeah.
Ex Machina. That is another one. Oscar Isaac excels at those like intimate moments and one-on-one scenes. And now he's going to have to do that with his own personalities. And I think that's where we're going to fucking love Moon Knight, is a guy trapped with this personality disorder, which, as I've researched, it's called dissociative identity disorder. They'll refer to it as that. It had previously been called multiple personality disorder in cases in real world cases like Sybil, which was a person in, I believe, the 70s portrayed by Sally Field in a movie that had so many different personalities. It's never been proven a medical condition. It's always
interesting.
Yeah. There's interesting histories to it, but Moon Knight in the comic books, his origin comes, his dissociative identity disorder comes from this issue that Max Bemis wrote, and it is pretty fucked up. So if you go into the Max Bemis run, which is the legacy run, there is an issue that talks about what tragedy struck him as a young kid. Jeff Lemire's run is great, but you have to tell the origin to get to Jeff Lemire, because Jeff Lemire's run takes place in his head and in the real world. It describes a lot of his past. It is one of my favorite runs, and it's got Greg Smallwood art. And Greg Smallwood's art is perfect for Moon Knight. I love that book so much.
Yeah.
If you want to break down the history, and I did it by volume. I think volume 1 is a must read. Doug Moench created the character with Don Perlin and Al Milgrom. 38 issues, but you get that Bill Sienkiewicz art. Art. And that's where I discovered Bill Sienkiewicz, and he's inspired some of my favorite artists like Chris Bachalo, Scotty Young. Seeing his early work and his covers on Moon Knight are unbelievable. I mean, that's just the beginning of his work. It runs 38 issues. It's, it introduces him as a guy who has 3 personalities. It's Mark Spector. And I don't want to get into the details of each one because they're all, they're all kind of different, but Moon Knight is the one I want to kind of focus on because it is deemed a different personality. He is the avatar for Khonshu. As the character you see up front, he is a mercenary, Mark Spector.
Yep.
And he is killed in the Middle East and resurrected by Khonshu, an Egyptian god, and says, I will bring you back, but you must do my bidding. And at various times in the series, it runs from being an assassin to being the fist of Khonshu, being justice, being a bodyguard for the travelers at night. That's why he runs into a lot of supernatural stuff. Werewolf by Night is, I think it's Marvel Spotlight, but it's a Werewolf by Night story that Moon Knight appears in. And when he discovers he's troubled, he helps. So people will belittle Moon Knight and call him Marvel's Batman, but they're wrong. He's way more complex. He has, the current run is very accessible for new fans.
And it introduces a really cool concept with you called Moon Knight the right fist of Khonshu, and it introduces maybe what you would call the other fist.
Yeah.
And it's really cool. I will say, I know you just said that we know that Moon Knight is not just Marvel's Batman, but I made a TikTok with the Moon Knight trailer set to Something in the Way by Nirvana, which is the trailer for the song in the trailer for Batman. And I think it looks pretty cool. So go check that out on my TikTok.
Yeah. Leave the cover up there for a second because Mark Spector is the fighter that you see in the front. Steve Grant is the producer personality. He is the Bruce Wayne. I will give you that. But he's more of a he's the money guy. He's the guy who goes out and keeps him stocked in the Moon Knight helicopter, his weapons, everything he does. So that's everything Steve Grant's personality does.
Time out. Listen, we can praise Moon Knight without shitting on Batman.
Yeah, it is way two different things.
Look, I'll. Oh, sorry.
No. I just wanted to touch on the last character being Jake Lockley. Is the guy in the taxi or in the driver's cab? He's the street guy. He's the guy who goes out, finds out the information. He would always go to and in the early runs, he would go to Gina's diner and talk to the people. He had different contacts to find out, and his main villain was Bushman in the early years, who we saw in Luke Cage.
Yes,
who was a great one. Oh, look at this!
Look, I will end the stream. God damn it!
All right, I will go on record. This is me putting on my super duper nerd hat. Moon Knight is not Marvel's Batman. He's Marvel's Shadow. There are more parallels with the Shadow than there are with Batman, right? Hell, just break down the 3 OG personalities. The taxi cab driver is basically from the radio series, right? Mm-hmm. Not that the Shadow, but he had his taxi driver that always drove him places. The rich playboy is the most known Shadow
Alec Baldwin
alter ego, right? Yeah. And then the mercenary is basically who the Shadow really was, Kent Allred, who was not a mercenary, but he was a fighter pilot in the war. So it's like those 3 things really parallel the Shadows presentation than it is Batman. All right, I'm done.
Well, I will bring up another Batman comparison in a book I wasn't a big fan of, but Last Night on Earth, that Batman book.
Oh, okay.
In the very first issue, they treat Bruce Wayne as a mental patient, and that all of his enemies are actually doctors who have tried to help him with specific problems.
Wow.
Yeah, and I would lean that is kind of Moon Knight. Moon Knight deals with his own problems in very poor ways. You have to take. I mean, you have to take that this guy is a guy who has died. He's been through the trauma of war. He's been through childhood trauma. When you read the Max Bemis story, it is really messed up about what he sees as a child, and it is not. I don't know. It's pretty squeamish stuff. And that's the reason. That's what broke him. That in there.
So where is that Max?
The chat is
like
where
in the run?
it's like the last run before Jed McKay took over. So it's the legacy run. I want to say it's like 100. It's actually like I'll find the issue. I'll make sure I can find it.
Okay.
But yeah, from his run, that's probably the thing I recommend the most, just because you get that origin story, and he writes crazy really well. After the 38, after the first volume, the second volume is a Fist of Khonshu run I can't really recommend. It's a six issue mini. It's not that great. The third, and it's weird because there are volumes that are called Moon Knight, and then there are books called Fist of Khonshu Moon Knight. So they're not exactly. Wikipedia breaks it down really well if you want to look at that. I could tell you the stuff I recommend the most is Volume 1, Volume 3, which is Charlie Houston's run. That's my favorite run. But again, you can't get to that run without reading the first volume. It is way more crime, pulp. It is, if you've read Charlie Houston, he does crime really well. The Hank Thompson trilogy is fucking fantastic. But his take on Moon Knight was a very broken guy with broken people around him. Frenchie is his Alfred, and you discover way more of his history in that run, and it's fantastic. What were you going to say?
I was just going to say I fucking love this cover. By Edwards.
Oh my gosh. There are so many great Moon Knight covers.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I will say it's really interesting in the design of Moon Knight for a character that is out and about at night. The fact that he's all in white, and I know, I know they've explained in the comics why that's a choice and all that, but it still seems like a very interesting approach to the character.
Yeah, I don't know when they used the white. The main reason I saw it was in Warren Ellis's run, and Declan, I can't remember. Shalvey did the art in that, and they introduced Mr. Knight. Now, Mr. Knight is like supposedly the more violent personality, and so he wears just a white suit with the mask, and his purpose is, I want you to see me coming. Like, he says that in the book. And to take anything from that run, if you enjoyed, did you ever see the movie The Raid Rebellion?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is essentially, if that was a comic book, it is Moon Knight going through a building and just killing and taking out people as he works his way to the top. I would say the thing that stands out, I mean, the story is not incredible. It's an interesting way to do action in a book, and I think it reads well digitally, but it's the art that stands out during that run. Declan does.
Shalvey.
And all his covers for Moon Knight are fucking amazing. I love that run so much just because, I don't know, he seems to just get the action really well. Greg Smallwood seems to get the personalities, details. I love his run on it. I'm trying to remember when his run is. It's
how did you like
volume 5?
So volume 5, I have that here. That starts with Charlie Hudson.
Oh, well, see, I had that listed as volume 3.
Oh, well, I think so. I think Huston comes back. I'm just looking. I'm on the Marvel fandom page.
Okay.
Which volume 5 has the David Finch art.
Okay, Charlie Houston, David Finch. That's my favorite run. So
Okay.
if we're going to call that a different volume, I'll just make sure you find Charlie Houston, David Finch. Actually, Mark Texeira does some art in there too. So,
Well, I guess
nice.
I guess David Finch did the covers, but Mark Teixeira is the artist, at
interior.
least in the beginning. Yep.
Yeah. I will warn you, there's one run I'm not a fan of, and that's the Bendis run.
Interesting.
Bendis and Maleev too. I mean, it's a great team, but he doesn't do Moon Knight. He sees Moon Knight as a character who's talking to other heroes in his mind. So instead of personalities, it's Spider-Man, Captain America, Wolverine, who each kind of bring a different element of heroism. You know, Wolverine obviously being the most violent of them. It's a pretty book, but it's not a good story.
Bendis sometimes has such weird interpretations of characters. Like I think his MO is he takes on a well-established character and says, "I'm going to change everything." Right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's done that more often than not.
Yeah, I love the Alex Maleev art, and the covers are great, but the story just doesn't work for me as a Moon Knight character or as a Moon Knight story at all. And then we get to the Jeff Lemire run, which is Moon Knight, or I say Moon Knight. I want to call him Moon Knight, but it is Mark Spector. Mark Spector is in a mental hospital, and and it even grows from that idea because he runs into the people he knows from his past, but he sees them as different people, and maybe he's not trapped in there. So it's Jeff Lemire. It's going to be a little more mental and give you a lot of things to think about when you're going through that book. That's why it's a great run. And the art is just so beautiful. He does Fractured very well. Like there are so many things that are fractured in his mind that Greg Smallwood pulls off in that book, whether it's the cover or whether it's within the story. That one is probably the most cerebral of them all. There's not as much fighting as there is him trying to work his shit out. Yeah, love that cover.
I will say, I think it's I don't know if it's after Lemire or after Ellis. There's a piece where Cullen Bunn takes over for a little bit. I really like that because I really like Cullen Bunn. It really turns the book into just like Moon Knight kind of doing what do you call it? Just taking down criminals and doing vigilante stuff.
Right.
But I like the way Cullen Bunn writes these characters that are more in the gray area, like Moon Knight and Venom, where they're not full heroes. I think he does very well at that. And he's also just great as a transition from one run to the other. Because Jeff Lemire took it in a completely different direction.
Yeah. I mean, there have been weird, like one-off stories. I don't know if they're going to follow through, like Jed McKay's Kurt run. Like in Max Bemis's run, Jake Lockley, when he took over the personality, he fathered a child that none of the other personalities knew about.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So
wow.
Yeah. Because Moon Knight's love interest, Marlene, is kind of, the woman in all pulp noir stories, you're not sure what side she's playing at times. And most of the time she's, trying to do, like early on, she's the love interest. Later on, and especially in the Houston run, is when she's kind of broken. She explains like what it's like to date a crazy person and why, and she can't be with him. But then later we find out that that she's the mother of the child with one of the personalities, which makes things even way more complicated.
Interesting.
But this character has gone through war, has PTSD, has trauma, has mental health issues, has childhood trauma, has dissociative identity disorder. I mean, obviously, we're going to be addressed.
And also, it's like he has the power of a supernatural god too. Like,
right. He voluntarily gives his body to Khonshu as Moon Knight, and so Moon Knight is vengeance, depending on which story you read. So, vengeance has been the most used, so I feel like that's what it's going to be, and I'm kind of hyped for it.
Yeah. Vengeance, almost his own version of justice, because I think in the Avengers thing that just happened, it was okay. I don't think it was my favorite Moon Knight stuff, but I think it's called Fist of Khonshu, the story, right?
Yeah.
Like when Moon Knight just takes down the Avengers, and you see how easily he's able to do that.
Yeah, that's actually the current Jason Aaron run. It's issues 33 through 38.
Yeah.
If you want to read a current Moon Knight story that is badass, Jason Aaron loves Moon Knight and does a great job with him.
Yeah, but I really like this new Jed MacKay book as well.
I tried to break down the roles of what Khonshu wants as he takes over Moon Knight. Vengeance is one. Pathfinder, Embracer, they call him a defender, and a watcher of overnight travelers, which is like what he does in the current book with Jed MacKay and helping the werewolves when they were traveling by night. But I'm trying to think, I say avoid the Brian Michael Bendis. Max Bemis is weird if you want to get really fucking weird, but I recommend the origin of Mark Spector as a child, that issue. I'll try to track down the exact number of that. But if you can't get any enjoyment from the Jeff Lemire and Greg Smallwood run after reading the beginning, I mean, that's just that's how much I love this character. They're all just messed up.
Yeah. This is from the Jed MacKay book, and it starts off with Mr. Knight.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. I really, really like this. I love this. Oh God, hold on. I think it's the next page. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's hunting down vampires. These are freshly turned vampires. Like these guys just turned these four into vampires, and they're taking them out. So Moon Knight has to interfere, and he just comes in hard. Yeah, I really, really like it. It's really good. Like I think it's at issue 3 or 4. But it's very enjoyable.
And I'm really curious because I mean, therapy is pretty normalized, I would say, nowadays. There's some people I don't think they need help mentally anymore, but we even see it in Endgame. I mean, Cap leads people in discussions to just try to get through stuff. And I kind of like them normalizing that as people realize, the world we live in, we need help. And whether it's a group discussion, therapist, or whatever, those things will help you. And Moon Knight is probably the most mentally tortured person we've seen since Scarlet Witch.
What do you mean? Let's just look at this page.
Dead in front of the statue.
And
I want to see the statue. That's the other thing. It's the weirdest prop in all of comics. He has to he brings that statue with him because that is Khonshu and that is what he worships. That's his religion.
Yeah. I really like this book. I forgot how much I left it. I'm behind a little bit, but I forgot how much I enjoyed that first issue.
Yeah, and then there are memes of Moon Knight. If you've seen our, I use them in the intro, one of our intros, just because it's silly.
The one where he tells Dracula that he's a fucking nerd.
Yeah, those are great.
Those are fun,
and they have a chance with the light and the dark in the show to really do some great stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've ever seen Moon Knight's costume ever covered in blood, but if it's going to be in this show.
It's the in the vein of that Electro book that's coming out. Let's do a Moon Knight Red, White, and Blood.
Oh yeah, Oh yeah, and we don't know who at least I don't know who the villain is. I know it's been cast as Ethan Hawke, which is a weird.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm excited for that. Yeah,
I am too, because to see those two do scenes together will be incredible. And then to try to figure out, obviously he'll be Moon Knight. Is he going to be all these other characters in different scenes with the same characters, and how will those play out?
Yeah.
He just doesn't look like a soldier in the trailer at all.
Mm-mm.
Are they just going to play him as a crazy person?
He looks like. Go ahead, Josh.
Sorry. Well, I was going to say maybe they start off presenting him as a curator, and the soldier stuff comes up later, right? Like that's presented in flashback or something.
Yeah. I don't know. He seems out of his mind, so maybe they're going to focus on his mental problems and work it out. I mean, who knows? I like to think that Moon Knight is a guy that's got all these personalities in his head, and they're all playing Monopoly, and there's going to be one winner, and that's it. And he's always losing because he just, that's his downfall of all these personalities. And it's how do you fix yourself? I mean, he doesn't seem, he obviously seems broken. Do all the personalities think he's broken? When you're in that state, some people find to medicate themselves or find other ways to medicate. Like there's so many social issues and weird shit I want to get into, but in the end, I think it's just going to be a guy beating the shit out of people real violently. And my hope is it outdoes the violence we see in the Batman.
just keep that argument going.
Yeah,
we'll have a Moon Knight versus Batman episode next year.
See, that's apples and oranges. That's really
you're right. Like I mentioned, let's do Moon Knight and Midnighter. I think that one's closer.
Yeah, that's two very different people.
Very, very violent. All right. I think that's gonna. Did you have anything else, Clay? I know you brought a lot of research.
No, just that. I just wanted to make sure people knew who he was, that he's a broken character. We're not coming in to see some badass who trained himself to be the ultimate weapon and go out and save people. We're seeing a guy who died and is an avatar of a religion that he knows nothing about, but he's also broken into 4 other pieces that we may see. I don't know if we'll see Mr. Knight, but if we do, that's going to be the most violent personality of all. And
sometimes he even has to turn on Khonshu. So that's very interesting. It's the chat's wild today.
Wow, we got some hot takes in chat.
Yeah. They really turned on me. So let's move on to our recommendations to close out the show. Where hopefully they'll stop dunking on. I don't have a Batman book, so if that makes you guys feel better. Go ahead, Josh. I think you have something, right?
Yeah. My go-to is to always look at the Humble Bundles, and there is one now.
Good.
It is a Lone Wolf and Cub bundle for the top price of $25. You get. Let me walk through this. 28 volumes of Lone Wolf and Cub. You get 15 volumes of Path of the Assassin. You get 10 volumes of Samurai Executioner. You get spin-off stuff like The Color of Rage, Lady Snowblood, Crying Freeman. This is, I can only guess, thousands upon thousands of pages of Lone Wolf and Cub universe. So go check it out. We'll post the link. I'll put it in the description.
Yeah,
it's pretty incredible. Like I'm tempted to buy it, but it feels overwhelming. Like I'm like, holy crap!
That's a lot. That is so much. I can't imagine just like starting that Lone Wolf and Cub series. I mean, with so many volumes.
I've been wanting to read Lady Snowblood because
me too.
A buddy of mine, they have a movie podcast where they only talk about sequels and reboots called They Made Another One. They talked about one of the Lady Snowblood movies and how it inspired Tarantino to do Kill Bill and stuff.
Kill Bill, interesting.
So yeah, I want to read that, and I looked at the manga and it looked a little expensive, but if I can get this for $25 and have the 4 volumes of Lady Snowblood and all of pretty much, it looks like maybe all of Lone Wolf and Cuff. I don't
It
know
looks
how
like
long.
all of Lone Wolf and Cub, yeah.
Yeah.
And if you scroll up to the top, I mean, again, like 25 is the most you'll pay. If you click on the different amount, you can pay less and see what's in those. And so I don't know if maybe Lady Snowblood is.
It's usually good. It's usually a good enough deal that I would get the big one.
Just get the whole kit and caboodle. So
just make sure to adjust your donation to charity and all that.
To charity,
here,
always do that.
Exactly.
However you want to do it. Oh, they took off the little meter thing. You could just change.
Yeah, they got some pushback. I guess it was several months ago. They changed it where even at the bottom where it has the custom amount, they didn't have that when they changed it. You could only pick one or the other, and then they finally added the custom amounts because myself included, we were all like, "This is BS. I want to give as much to charity as possible." So.
Yeah. All right, Clay, do you have a recommendation?
Yes, I watched a documentary on Hulu called "For Madmen Only." It's about Del Close. Do you guys know who he is?
Mm-mm.
He created improv comedy. So,
whoa.
Yeah, if you enjoy Saturday Night Live, Kids in the Hall, all kinds of sketch comedy, he taught these people.
Adding it right now.
And he is insane. This movie was made last year, and it goes through the history of Second City and Del Close and the invention of improv and where it came from and how he kind of got into it. Also, he takes a lot of drugs. He has a story about his father's suicide that he may or may not have witnessed. He is crazy, but it's also like, you see him talk about Chris Farley's early days, people who've come to stage and just shine.
Oops.
He was really breaking through when Saturday Night Live broke out because he trained Bill Murray. He trained all the people who did SCTV. When he was too difficult to deal with in Chicago, he gets banned to Canada. And then he's working with Harold Ramis, Eugene Levy, Catherine O'Hara. He's working some of the greatest comedians we have nowadays. And it is told through reenactments with who's the voice of Dr. Venture?
Oh, God damn it. Yeah.
That comedian plays him in reenactments. The thing that will hook you comic book people is Del Close wrote a story in the 90s called Wasteland with Mike Gold as his editor and John Ostrander. So John Ostrander is in the movie talking about working with Del Close on this Wasteland comic that was kind of this weird history of him growing up and doing comedy told through a comic book. It is, I don't want to give any more away. I feel like I told you a lot and you're still going to get a whole lot more out of it.
So
I am going to watch it.
And when you're sitting down at some kind of comedy club on a Saturday afternoon because your friend invited you to check out his improv troupe, now you know who to blame.
Exactly.
Right. James Urbaniak.
Yes. He plays him in reenactments. Matt Walsh, it plays Mike Gold. They have different people play different characters to help move the story along as they tell him trying to do this Wasteland comic that I remember buying as a kid and going, I think this is one of those drug books. And I don't take and at the time I don't take any drugs, so I won't understand this. So I don't get it. But no, it's just really, it was always weird. It wasn't anything that really kind of came together cohesively. They even admit.
Cool. That sounds interesting, but it sounds like
you can get it on Comixology.
Oh, you can? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, my recommendation is going to be a comic that should be out this week, depending on I don't know, distribution and all that. It's called Radio Apocalypse #1 from Vault Comics. Let me read you the synopsis. Long after the rock out of space struck the world and turned it all to dust, in Bakerstown stands the last radio station in the planet. Radio Apocalypse, broadcasting into the unknown, a beacon in the dark for those who wander the lost places. Now, change is coming to Bakerstown, among the refugees flocking into an already precarious settlement. An orphan boy, caught in an indiscretion, will twine his fate with the radio station, and in doing so, begin this mixtape of love and heartbreak and interminable hope. The soundtrack to the end of the world. This is written by Ram V, who's currently writing Venom, with art by Anand Radhakrishna. I hope I said that close to correctly. So yeah, I'm excited. Vault sent us this to take a look at. I haven't read it, but I will put out a review probably tomorrow on the channel. And then yeah, hopefully this does make it to the comic book shops. And let me show you the cover because I think it's super rad.
Yeah, that sounds really cool. Radio Apocalypse.
I like the idea.
Yeah, I like the idea. I like the art. It looks very, very cool because this is the same artist that did the cover.
Vault keeps cranking out some good stuff.
Yeah. Vault's on top of it. A lot of these little indie publishers, they're really doing some cool stuff.
Yeah.
Also, Oh, go ahead, Josh.
No. Go ahead.
From Image, I already have them. I bought a Home Volume 1 is coming out. It's a book that I've been picking up. You can go check out a review for the first issue on the channel, but it's being collected into trade paperback this week. So go check that out if you haven't. It's a really good book. It's about a family that's immigrating from Guatemala. And then when they get detained at the U.S. border, they find out that they get separated, but the kid develops powers, and now he's trying to find his family. So it's a really cool premise. It's an all-Latino creator team, so I was really on board. I was really happy when they let me read that book in advance. So very excited for that.
That is awesome. Awesome. I was just going to throw out for like, those rare occasions. I think the last time I did this was Batman 89. A book coming out this Wednesday, so hopefully it gets to stores, is a really interesting concept if you are a fan of modern Doctor Who. It is Doctor Who Empire of the Wolf #1. And it celebrates the 25th anniversary of the premiere of the 8th Doctor. And the concept is Rose Tyler, the one that was left in the alternate universe, gets sucked into the universe with the 8th Doctor. And so she gets to basically be the companion of the 8th Doctor and weirdly the Matt Smith Doctor. So I'm excited to read it just to kind of see what happens. But it looks fascinating, and I think I'm going to go buy it so that both my daughter and I can read it because Rose is her favorite companion. So,
this is from
great
Titan Books. Interesting.
Yeah, from Titan. Yeah.
Oh, Jodie Hauser. Yeah, I love Jodie Hauser.
Oh, Jodie Hauser.
Yeah.
X-Men.
Yeah.
She's great. She's great at adaptations, especially like I think she wrote the 13th Doctor, her whole book. I think Jodie Hauser wrote it.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, she's been doing a lot of Doctor Who stuff, so I am excited.
All right. Well, very excited for all the Disney Plus stuff coming up. We'll keep talking about it as long as they keep putting out stuff. Hopefully, we'll see some more stuff.
And we're going to be talking Moon Knight.
Yeah, we'll talk more Moon Knight.
Yeah, I'm excited.
We'll talk more.
I might do episode recaps after each one.
Oh, cool. Nice.
That'd be cool.
I will go watch the actual She-Hulk trailer now. I feel very embarrassed. I didn't vet my sources.
It's, all three of those are on our channel. Like I said, I uploaded them. They haven't been taken down. So.
Daniel just twisting the knife in my back to further embarrass me. But go on. It's good.
No. I would ask Twitter to send you fake trailers and just keep telling them they're real.
Send Josh your favorite fan trailer.
Oh, please don't. I don't need this confusion in my life.
I'm gonna get a text message from Josh. Did you react to this?
Yeah, exactly. What the hell? The Moon Knight trailer had Ms. Marvel in it. I'm so confused. And Poe Dameron for some reason. What's going on?
Yeah. We will also be, I think next week is the premiere of Wheel of Time. I know a lot of people that subscribe to the channel are actually excited for that. I will definitely do. I have to actually go into the office on Friday, which is insane because I haven't been in a long time. It's just for an assignment, but we do it. But I probably will be at the office, so I will be doing a review for the channel for however many episodes they drop. Probably 3, knowing Amazon, and I'll probably do like kind of Clay mentioned, just then after the fact on each episode, just to kind of go over what's going on, because I'm very excited. People really are being very welcoming to this fandom, which feels rare. Hopefully that doesn't turn when the show comes out. Hopefully that doesn't turn into like, oh, this is garbage. But the show looks great.
I have discovered I have a bunch of colleagues who are huge Wheel of Time fans, and they have done nothing but gush over that trailer. Every trailer that gets released, they're like, this looks incredible. So I'm very hyped for it, but I'm in that weird place again where I want to read the book before I watch the show. So
see, I want to do it the other way. I want to watch the show, then I want to read the Dynamite comics, and then maybe listen to the book. We'll see. Depending on the success of the season 1 and what they announce for the future, then I can make a decision on how to approach that.
I want to watch the shows, and I don't want to give Amazon money, so that's just the hurdle that I'm at. So
we'll figure it out.
So just wait till they come out on Blu-ray.
Plex is good.
We probably know someone whose Plex server will have it yesterday.
Yeah.
So
before Amazon come and gets us, Jeff Bezos, stay away. You're not a subscriber.
What if we just let him go to space and just didn't let him come back?
Here's what we do: we let him go to space, and then we move the Earth. Right? We just move.
We put a sign that says no solicitors.
No. We put up to contact Earth, we're going to charge you an additional fee that's going to you're going to need to pay up front if you'd like any communications to land.
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. You didn't pay for Prime Earth. You can't come back yet.
You have to go to Florida.
You have to be actually. You have to be this decent of a human being.
Love it.
Quick shout out also to our Patreons. I forgot to do it at the top of the show.
Yes.
Shout out to Mike Rappin, to the I Read Comic Books podcast, to Final Neil, my buddy Neil from MK Podquest. Go subscribe to their channel. They're trying to get to 100.
Yes.
Get that sweet custom URL. And also Jason Ashmore. Go check out their channel At the Table. We
much
very
love
much
to
appreciate
those guys.
you guys.
Much love.
Yeah, thank you all. That's fantastic. You guys rock.
Let's see. I think I got all the stuff. I think I should make a checklist to end the show, but nah. I like this whole we just ramble until I hit the button.
You do it live. Yeah.
I'm feeling a little bit better enough that I want to try to put out 2 more videos. If I can put out the Howard the Duck one from our last talk, and I want to pull Moon Knight from this one and do it I
was gonna ask you to do that. So
yeah. I'm gonna try to do that.
Okay, cool.
The drugs are helping. For those who not know, I have a spinal problem, bone spurs on my spine, so I can't do anything. So it's hard to sit for a long time and do much. But the drugs are helping, and maybe I can crank out a couple of videos.
All right. Well, cool. Stay tuned on the channel for that. If you're watching this far and you haven't subscribed, what are you doing?
Yeah, what the fuck? Come on.
Hit the button.
And love to chat for helping us out so much.
Yeah, for sure.
Info.
Even when they
Legoland just dropped all
even when
hot,
they turn
hot topics.
Me. You turn.
Yeah, please. Everybody in chat, come back next week when Dano turns off the chat. So,
so a quick shout out to Joseph Boris, Art Chemist, Legoland, Leonard Cameron, Gregory Castillo. Who else was on there? G. Robo Strange. Yeah, go check out I Freaking Love Comics. They have great content. Sometimes they have me on and it's not as good, but it's still a lot of fun. All right, let's get the fuck out of here. And let's get out of here.
Let's ride.
Thanks everyone for watching.
Peter loves you.
Oh yeah. Clay?
Hell, Bebo.
Josh?
My vagina is haunted.